Yes, sir. Back with another episode of the HBCU podcast, the show. Anything you want it to be. With your host, Hashim the Dream. You already know what it is. And in this corner,
Good rising, good people. Bobby K here, and our fellow honorary host slash editor.
Wally not well, y'all. What's
mm,
popping?
Oh
Let's
God,
get it.
that made me a little
are you
nervous.
ready?
All
So,
right,
so Bobby got the
okay,
topic
Hakeem.
today. No, you got the topic today. So go ahead.
Yeah. So, in light of everything that has been transpiring in the world of entertainment amongst 2024, there's been a lot of discussion about a lot of different things. So I figured this would be a good time to do a topic in terms of differentiating between the difference of beef versus competition. And the reason I wanted to do this topic is because I feel like amongst all of the exposure, all of the hostility, so to speak, that's been going on, especially to begin this year, those things have kind of been warped and blurred in the lines. So I wanted to hammer out that the differences and where one situation can apply to beef, where another thing can apply to competition. So first and foremost, let's just get the elephant out the room. Hip hop, right? There's a lot of shit that's been going on. If you have not been living under a rock, it's a lot to go through in terms of details. So I'll just summarize it. A lot of motherfuckers got beef with each other, per se. And I think the overarching narrative that I've been seeing the past like month or so as all these diss tracks from Chris Brown and Quavo, I mean, that situation is insane.
That came out of nowhere. But
Oh,
continue.
very much so. Yeah, I didn't even understand where that stemmed from until, of course, we found out after the fact. A lot of this shit has to do with girls, to be honest, but we'll get into that more. But Chris Brown and Quavo, Kendrick Drake, and Future, and Metro, and all these
Rick
different
Ross.
Rick Ross, Cole, like
Oh,
all these different things, right? And I feel like the overarching narrative is, oh, this is great for the spirit of hip hop. This is great competition. And I flagrantly disagree with that. Um, I think competition is great. It's a beautiful thing. We all three of us are competitive in our own ways in different things and different aspects. I don't think none of these situations are competition based. I think all these things have genuine beef and genuine animosity and hostility towards it. And before I go any further with that, I just want to see what y'all think. Do y'all see a difference between beef and competition?
I I would say, especially for hip hop, the only person that saw it as a competition was my man J. Cole.
On God,
And I guess he realized it was real life beef. It's
right?
like, I'm about that, him and his soul. But yeah, for sure, there's different competition is like, all right, you push me, I push you, we gotta get better eventually, or I just want, I'm gonna do better. Beef is like, I hate you, I want to embarrass you, I want to make you look bad. Anything that I can do to hurt you, I will do. That's beef. Chris
Hmm.
Brown got beef with Quavo.
Big, yeah. That's beyond beef. That's physical dismembering level of beef. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, go ahead.
But I think more so you can see that a lot in like NBA where you see com, com, competitive people. I don't know, I'm stuttering.
Cup. All right, good.
See competitive people, like say KD. I ain't gonna say LeBron. LeBron a little too friendly for my liking. But that's competition. Kobe was competitive. He didn't have beef, but compare Kobe's competitiveness to LeBron's is different.
Hmm.
You go ahead, Wally.
I would say for beef, there is aspects of competition, but like Hashim pointed out, there is more ill intent and hostility. You want to embarrass them. It could also be you want to prove that you're better than them in whatever aspect. My example for this, we had a discussion about this before. Is like with anime, take Goku and Vegeta. It's kind of one-sided beef there, but Vegeta got beef with Goku. He wants to prove that he's better than him because he thinks he's lower than him, lower class Saiyan. He's a prince, he's royalty. He needs to prove that he's above and beyond, a god among men. Goku's just like, oh, I just want to see how strong you are and compare with me, and grow together. One-sided beef once again, but there's a friendly rivalry, and then there's beef. A competition, I would say, is friendly rivalry. It's like, oh, if you win or lose, good game, good match, no ill will. Oh, that was some good moves, man. Thank you. Beef, it's like, even if your opponent does well, you're like, you got lucky, you some bitch. I'm gonna beat the hell. I'm gonna get better. No, don't worry, you got lucky. That is a clear distinction. That's how I define beef and competition.
I'll personalize it. Like, let's say, for example, like if Hashim and I play ball, right? Like 1-on-1, 5-on-5, we're playing against each other. We're on separate teams. Don't even start because you've been ducking smooth. Don't stop. Anyway, let's say we're hooping, right? And we're matching up or whatever. We're competitive naturally. Like, of course, even though we're homies, I'm trying to win. He's trying to win. We're trying to see who's the better man out of the situation, right? We're gonna go at it, you know what I mean? We're gonna jaw, we're gonna talk trash a little bit. We're gonna talk trash a little bit, but you know what I'm saying? We both have an understanding that it's in the level of competition at the end of the day, right? So after we get through the physicality, everything happens, game's over, dap up. I'm not entertaining y'all right now. We're gonna dap up, everything cool, and then move on to the next game. Beef is if we have underlying tension with each other already, and then let's say you add in, significant others watching the game. So now it's like, oh, it's a macho type of situation, and now things can escalate to where it's not just competition, but now it's like, oh, if he drives to the basket to go for a layup and I push him in the air. That's not some shit.
Or it's like some microtransactions, like, oh, you don't check the ball. Like, how people say, oh, check the ball. You just be like,
or you hold the ball. I throw the ball over the fence because I'm tight because he fouled me too hard. Like, that's escalating the situation to a point of like, oh, we got real issue now. It's not just competitive nature. So I feel like a lot of people get those things confused because I feel like a lot of people have not actually been in competitive settings to understand what an actual competition is. Like when me and Hashim did track together, for example, like we understood the competition was the opposing school, but it was also amongst ourselves in terms of we want to see who's faster. But it's not to a detriment to the point of like we're going to sabotage the other person while we're running next to each other.
That's crazy.
Doing laps. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think people fully understand that concept. And that's why so many people instigate situations further because they've never been in competitive setting.
You think they instigate because they don't know the difference between competition and beef?
Yes.
Sometimes,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yes, absolutely. And the prime example of that is what Hashim led off with J. Cole. Yeah. I feel like for him, his main thing, if anyone's been listening to Cole for the past 4 or 5 years, especially, he has been on a run future-wise in his own music for trying to assert his dominance as the best. Point blank, period. He talked his shit, yeah, but it's all in the level of competition. I want to show that I'm the best in my generation of the big three, you know what I'm saying? And whatever. And put me on the song with anybody, and I'm gonna out rap them, and I'm gonna be the person they talk about. And 9 out of 10 times, he was right. The problem was because people don't understand the fucking difference between competition and beef, they wanted him to assert himself in a way that it became deeper than competition. Hold on one second. Yeah, so people wanted him to entertain when like the Like That verse came out from Kendrick, and people wanted to see him, or the impression that he got, whether it was right or wrong, was that people wanted him to start coming at Kendrick in a way that's beyond just competition, to shit on him, to stunt on him, to downgrade his legacy, downgrade his career, which he tried to do on 7-Minute Drill, and he probably didn't get the response that he wanted, right? In
Right.
terms of the fanfare.
I
So
like that.
then that's when, and I was there live when he did the apology and everything, and that's been a whole talking point in itself. But I genuinely feel like that stemmed from the fact that he wanted everything to be a competition. And when he realized that he caught a stray from two people who actually have legitimate beef and issues with each other, he said, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm good. Because
The memes for that were funny as hell.
yeah, exactly. Of course. That's, you show yourself in a vulnerable space on the internet, you're gonna get shit on. We know how Twitter and shit works. Is whatever. But that's a prime example of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's beef. Beef. The most entertaining one that I've seen so far in recent years, which is not so recent now, I think about it, is that Pusha T, Drake.
Mhm.
Push. I think Push won, honestly. I don't care
Of
about the
course he
back to
did.
back
Of course he
charged
did.
up
No,
nonsense.
no,
But
that was for Meek, bro.
charged up for me.
Charged Up and Back to Back was for Meek. What you're thinking about for Push was
Duppy freestyle.
yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
And then a story of Adidon came right after that. And then there was an alleged Drake response in the tuck that he was gonna put out there, but Jay Prince or Jazz Prince, the Prince family, the well-known record exec from
Yeah.
Houston, kind of like shelved it, so to speak, because I guess it was gonna expose Kanye or whoever else, whatever. So if that existed, but nonetheless, Wale, when you think of beef, right, like in a real life sense, like what do you think of, or have you experienced beef yourself?
Oh yeah, of course. It could be. It can. I don't know. I have to think about your first question, but as for myself, the beef. Honestly, it's silly to say, but even when I'm playing games online with some friends, and if we're playing a multiplayer game, and there's some rare occurrences where you run into the same people, and you start shit talking, and then that's when it goes from, oh, just random players, all right, let's just win, to now it's beef. Now it's like, oh, we see your names, I recognize you. You were the shit talker the other day or a few matches ago. Oh, we about to beat your ass. We about to bust your ass right now.
Is that not competition more so though?
No, we're
Nah,
shit,
that's beef.
legit shit talking. Like it is everything the teams do against each other is out of pure malice. Like, oh, you ain't shit. Uninstall the game. You're trash. Blah blah blah. Go touch grass. That is wrong.
Don't
But
touch grass.
yeah, that kind of shit. It's literally verbal abuse, not abuse, verbal attack, as well as like in game like attacking. It's not just the game. Now it's like I'm attacking your character with my words now. That kind of thing.
Mm.
As far as like beef unrelated to gaming, I would say, if I have a hint of beef with someone in real life, it's a matter of, all right, let's just talk this out and be done with it because I'm not trying to have a back and forth. So if there was beef, I can't recall. Maybe it was against some friends and family, but that shit was squashed like that. So I can't really talk on that.
Have you ever had beef that wasn't squashed and you just end up just not fucking with the people anymore? Because you gotta think about that too. Beefs don't always get squashed, and that's what I think people don't understand.
No, I don't think I've ever had that because for me, I know who can I gravitate towards and who I will allow in my circle. Like my cousin had a friend that he knew. I didn't fucking like him based on how he held himself and talked and shit. And like even when he had his jokes and shit, I'm like, oh, I bet. I see how you move. I didn't have outward beef, but I kept it really, really cordial, but I was not making an effort to see him or be cool with him in a public setting when there's people we all both know. I'm like, nah, he's faking.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It wasn't like outward beef. Go ahead.
I agree with what you said. Like, I feel like you could also have one-sided beef. Like,
Yeah.
Like you said, you don't like the way like they carry themselves or how they talk and blah blah. But like, bro, just I don't want to be around you, honestly. Like interaction is not gonna be it ain't ain't for me.
Bad
So
vibes. Bad vibes.
yeah, pretty much. You could have one sided beef. I have one sided beefs or had.
Towards you, or you have beef with someone?
I probably had beef to someone. I would never know if somebody had beef to me.
But that's surprising. You having beef with someone, they wouldn't know. I saw. Okay.
So what is it, if you remember, what was it, something that happened or something they did, or just what was it that caused you to have animosity towards them to where you just did not want to be around them at all?
It's just things they did, how they act. I also had beef on soccer fields as well, but that's just during the game, and you can't say that's competition because I real life would like no, like fuck you. Sorry,
Like,
I don't
you
know.
was ready to square up if necessary.
Yeah, but with the cleats.
Good old Hashim ready to fight?
Right.
Because
The
y'all
cleats.
swear.
Bobby, let me tell you something about Bobby. Bobby be more fight when we played
Listen,
basketball.
I know about Bobby. I was at a party function with this kid.
You
And
literally
rightfully
missed this
so.
last episode, bro.
Rightfully, I did. And you know what? Shit, like
You gonna say it
rightfully,
again?
this is the appropriate episode. We went to a club for a friend's birthday I was helping to put together, right? Great night. But there was an incident where we both had to go to the bathroom, right? And then,
Incident?
yeah, it was an
Wasn't no
incident.
damn incident.
It was about to be an
Right.
incident. So,
Feel
anyways, because
beef.
it low key packed in this club, when both were leaving, right? Some dude opened the door, or either Bobby opened the door
Just for the
and almost hit
bathroom.
them. Yeah, man was mad close, and he's like all tight at Bobby and shit. He's talking whatnot, and Bobby's like, "Yo, what the fuck you talking about?" It's like this was him. He was like chest out and shit. Like he like the fuck you looking at, bro? And I'm like, oh nah, Bobby, let's go. We out. Don't worry about it. We out. We out. And I felt an immovable wall for a second, Hashim. I was like, people talking about, oh, I'm big. I left the gym. I was like, oh shit, this is like bench press with the 3 plates.
Yeah,
I just hit a wall, man of steel type shit.
It
I had to
wasn't.
really,
It
I had to
wasn't
exert some
even that
strength.
deep. It wasn't even that deep.
It wasn't that,
The
bro. You
dude,
stood your
the
you
dude
stood
was
your ground
blocking.
though.
The dude was blocking the door with his
Yeah,
like 2 or 3 dumbass homies. They were clearly drunk, inebriated, and they was not allowing us to leave the bathroom. So we had to like put extra force. And then he looked at me a certain way as if I was crazy. So I stared at him to make sure that he was good.
nah, Bobby, why would you go ahead and do that?
Because why are you blocking the bathroom? What the like, bro? We're leaving
Yeah.
out of the bathroom. What are
You
you
didn't
blocking?
say you didn't say anything after
I
like you
I
just
stared
stared?
at him. I stared at him. It
Like,
was not a pleasant stare.
nah, you should have just said something and be like, yo, yeah, you still stare, but like
See how Hashim be instigating?
move, man.
That's crazy. I've seen Hashim do that too. It's crazy. What I
Yeah.
was saying was I've seen Hashim in situations once or twice, particularly with his partner or whatever, where he's territorial. I'll put it like that. So that usually can bring that type of energy out of someone to where they are, so to speak.
from
So
Hashim. Oh,
mhm.
oh.
So, but so for you guys, like Hashim, what is your take on this like beef competition stuff when it comes to like hip hop related?
Oh, competition is fire. Beef, it can be entertaining. Just don't get too. Well, it's beef. You gotta get personal. Competition, don't get too personal. That's what I would say.
Mhm.
Don't get like, oh yeah, your baby mom's blah blah blah. Yeah, you don't need that. But
Mhm.
I think it's good. I wouldn't say it's healthy. Like you don't need it, but I think it's good. I think it's good. Beef's just entertaining from an outside perspective in the hip hop game. Tell me that Chris Brown Quavo beef ain't entertaining.
See, y'all, you are the problem with some of these beats happening. You're the problem. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because y'all are the same ones who be like, yo, this shit is so entertaining to watch. It's spilling the tea. Oh, they slept with who? They did this. Until someone takes it too far and says something about Takeoff, like he did, and he mentioned Takeoff in that diss song, his dead nephew, and
Yeah.
now Quavo. What if he saw him the next day and said, I bet now I'm gonna try to end you and end your life? Nobody's gonna be laughing then. Everyone's gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe two black men went so far. It wasn't even supposed to be like this. Why did no one stop them? Because y'all egged on the bullshit and
Hey,
made it seem like it was
The end
cool.
of the day, though, Bobby. The end of
these
the
are
day, though. But at the end of the day, though, I get what you're saying. I see that from a point where that applies for a face-to-face, real life inner circle situation. The internet's the internet, bro. You gotta tone that out. If these people are letting the internet, they're like say, oh yeah, blah blah blah, lol. If they're letting all that dictate their actions, that is their fault. I do not blame the people who's viewing this at all.
facts.
It's not necessarily letting them dictate their actions, but we know how shit works, bro. If me and you, Wale, let's say me and you have an issue, whatever it is, right? And it's just me and you having an issue, right? It's a lot easier for us to just say, so go decide, like you mentioned before, with people you've had issues with before, and be like, hey, what's going on, bro? Like, what's happening? What's the issue? And then we go from there, right? Compared to if it's us and 100 people watching now, and I say something crazy, and then you say something crazier, and everyone's reacting to it. Now it's public. Now it's like, oh, damn, you just gonna let them talk about your fam like that? You just gonna let them talk about your dead relative like that? You just gonna let them talk about how you slept with your girl like that? Damn, that's crazy. You see what I'm saying?
But
Bob,
me, it's easy. Go ahead, Ashim. Go ahead.
You're forgetting these people are celebrities. They got to be used to this stuff. But Chris Brown been a celebrity since he was like 15.
So you think because these people are public figures that doesn't even make it worse because of their egos?
I don't think they're gonna let one tweet or a couple shade room covering them be like, "Yo, yeah, I do have to respond. I do gotta respond."
If these people are trending based off of these beefs that are happening publicly, for you guys to insinuate that wouldn't influence what they might say or what they might do.
No. I didn't say it doesn't. No, I didn't say it doesn't influence. I was saying it shouldn't because if you're a celebrity, you like. I'm not saying they're all like the smartest in the world, but at some point, especially with the in my experience, you've been a celebrity, especially as high profile as Chris Brown has been. People like him should have learned by now, from a PR standpoint, you cannot put yourself in a position of tomfoolery, even if because it's like some unknown Joe saying, "Oh, you gonna let him talk to you like that?" He can say that shit. You can't come out and retaliate and say certain things because it will not look good for you in the end. It only make things worse.
Well, I think this is
they should not let this audience. Go ahead.
I was saying I think this looked good for Chris Brown. Sound like he winning. Everybody's like, "Damn, this dude could dance, play basketball, sing. What can't he do? Rap?"
Yeah, that's positive reinforcement. I'm talking about like someone's trying to really instigate shit. Like, oh, okay, Chris Brown says something, then Quavo says something. Oh, damn, Chris, you can't. He basically calling you a bitch. You gonna make yourself look like a bitch?
I feel like that's real life
point
type
is,
stuff.
these guys have real life animosity. This isn't just based off of the internet is perpetrating them to have beef. They already have natural issues and problems with each other, and it's being played out publicly. So now, because it's getting played out publicly, these guys have reputations on the line. These guys have images on the line. So because of all of these different factors that's already in place, and now you're adding the external factor of the internet that are escalating it because they want to see drama and entertainment, but they don't understand the repercussions behind it. Everybody want to see the drama of a beef until the repercussions of the beef play out, and then everyone's like, damn, RIP, damn, I can't believe it escalated.
So what's your solution, Bobby? What do you suggest?
I think people need to stop instigating stuff to an extent to where people are saying stuff that are personal. And if you want to entertain competition for people to iron their swords, that's one thing. But that's what my point. The problem was with these type of things. It's like you're not you're not telling people to make better music. You're not telling people to make better albums. You're telling people to shit on someone else and say the most fucked up thing possible that you could find out about them for your own entertainment.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They cannot let these people dictate their beef. Like if anything, they should be trying to they just not communicate with each other or sell the shit somehow. Don't feed into it because someone's saying they're saying it for their benefit for entertainment.
You're saying that because I don't think you haven't heard the Chris Brown diss towards Quavo. If you heard the diss and heard the things he said and how he said it so disrespectfully, I promise you wouldn't feel the same way.
Yeah, but
here's
look,
the thing though. Hashim, go ahead.
When you put the blame on the people that made it public first, we had no idea, not to this extent.
Of course. Anytime people and this is why if you have issues or problems with people that you're close with or people in general, usually it's not the best idea to make it public because once you make shit public, it escalates further. I remember distinctly when back in high school, there was someone that I was cool with. I'm not going to say their name, but Hashim, you know who I'm probably talking about. He was on a basketball team with me. No, I'm not gonna say their name, but we're fine now. I'm talking about this past tense. There was a situation that happened where he was going out with someone at the time, and we was in high school, and another random person told his significant other that I was trying to talk to her, and so he put it out onto Twitter and asked or said something about it, and now people are tweeting, "Oh, eye emoji," all types of shit, and escalating it. Where he could have just texted or called me or asked me in person because we had class together, we saw each other every day, but because it was put out onto social media, it got escalated, and we didn't talk for months. So it's never a good idea to put stuff public like that if you don't intend on it escalating further. You know what I'm saying?
So basically, drama that you see in, well, anything, social media.
Right, exactly. But that's what I'm saying.
So there's two parts of this. One, like Hashim said, the minute someone makes it public, right?
Game.
That is when it falls down to the person who didn't make this public to dictate whether they want to make this more than it is or not. Say, oh, you'll put on social media? I got nothing to say. I'm just not gonna fuck with you. You tone out all the crap that people say because news is like, it goes through a revolving door. It's there and then it's out. People not gonna harp on it unless you harp on it with intention. Like I'm not gonna remember this until you bring it back up again. You just take it to the chin and let it go. That's how it's supposed to be honest. And the second part is, well, that's pretty much it. Don't make it public.
I agree. That's it.
And grow the fuck up, because honestly, people are too grown for this. And this goes back to the whole being, especially for Chris Brown and Quavo's case, y'all are grown ass men. This is the problem. When men get emotional, nothing goes good for anybody. The logical thing is you handle your shit and you keep it moving because you got more shit to worry about, more important things to worry about. None of this high school level type shit. It's not productive.
You know what's funny? I'm sorry, Hashim. You know what's funny about what you just said, Wale? The more and more episodes we get away from our logic versus emotion episode, the more and more I'm starting to feel like men are more emotional than women, to be honest.
No, it's the fact. It's the fact that when we're emotional, we are dangerous. That's the problem.
Right. Exactly.
We're supposed to be more logical, and even then, it's like when there's issues, because I've seen issues in relationships or heard of it in general, where a woman perceive a man's actions differently, as if they don't care or nonchalant, because they're trying to be logical. They're trying to avoid conflict. They're just trying to do the grown-up thing, saying, oh, I don't want to talk about this now. Let's talk about this when they cool off, or I got things to work on. Some relationships have problems when the guy doesn't have time because they're trying to be the man of the freaking household or of the relationship, that kind of thing. But because their partner wants their affection, you know, they want to spend time with them, and they don't get that they get emotional. There's a there's a balance that has to be made.
Mhm.
When the dude is now emotional, and the sidebar, I saw a video of some girl who had a restraining order on homeboy on this dude. This man stalked her and gunned her down in front of the apartment complex in broad daylight. Some hoodlum motherfucker did this shit in broad daylight.
Who was this?
Where this? I'll send y'all the video. I forgot where. I think it was Atlanta or something.
God,
But
not Atlanta.
this guy really took the liberty to just take her life for whatever reason. He seemed calm, but that's that psychotic shit. He was emotional. He did not want to see her go. Any logical person would be like, oh, they're not fucking with me. There's a restraining order. Go about my business. When a guy is emotional, that is a problem. That's why it's always more important for us now, men, to be an example for these people, these young kids growing up, because it's getting crazier now. We're seeing the consequences of little boys being more emotional than logical, than taking a step back to think before they act. Let's be honestly real. A woman emotional or a man emotional? Who's the dynamite? Who's the bomb waiting
Oh,
to
the
happen?
guy. The guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, 1000%. Hashim, you been trying to say something?
What?
You been trying to say something?
I've been forgot what I was gonna say.
My fault, bro.
I
went off
was
tangent,
on like
but go ahead.
2 topics ago. So you
To
guys
bring
keep
it on
going.
home and make my final point, I guess, is yeah, they are being children in the situation. In the moment, it might be cool, like, oh, alpha male. I hate that shit, but like, oh yeah, alpha male type shit, blah blah blah. You're showing your dominance. No, you're just being a bitch right now.
So let me ask a question, right? So for you guys, if let's say someone has an issue with you, right? And I want to hear Hashim first. Like someone has an issue with you, something might have happened. Why you making that face?
Why be first? You just
Because you haven't had much to say. Oh, you forgot what you said. So I want to hear from you first. So let's say someone has an issue with you. They know you guys have a relationship with each other, but something's happened or certain things have happened that's manifested itself in animosity. And they decide to make it public and they start saying certain things coded towards you about you. And it's very negative and it's borderline it's disrespectful. How do you go about handling that type of situation if it was you?
ignored.
It just that simple?
Because how else am I gonna see that stuff? I'm blocking the person at that point.
So
Person's
you're not
blocked.
gonna want to like have a conversation about it with them or anything?
No, what after they're done cross that line? What am I gonna? What's gonna talk about?
So what if they made like accusations about you publicly or something about you that was negative? You wouldn't want to like at least try to like clear yourself of what was said about you or someone that you love or anything of the sort. You just like
Ignore. I might put out like a general statement of like, hey, these stuff not true, but I'm not talking to that person. I feel like by you replying, just I think Wale said it earlier in the episode, by you replying, that's just gonna give him more fuel to be like, I'm gonna keep going.
mm.
And then it's gonna be like, oh, now he answered, and then everybody else gonna be like, oh wow, he answered. What else? What's next? What's next? What's next? If you ignore, what are they gonna say?
People might perceive it as, oh, you're ignoring because it's the truth. That
Or
happens.
I'm ignoring because it's a lie. Why entertain lies?
What if it's something truthful, but it wasn't something that was supposed to be public knowledge?
Ignore. What bad thing? Think if I was Quavo and I just ignored Chris Brown's diss, what is gonna happen?
I mean, I don't know how he can ignore a diss that references. First of all, he mentions his dead nephew, Takeoff. and then he also says people would rather you have been dead. So it's just kind of like, not
Yeah,
to
but
mention referencing, sleeping with his ex while they were together. Like, it's
yes,
these
but
very incriminating things to talk about.
by the time by him responding, it made it 10 times worse because his ex girl,
Sweetie,
sweetie, posted a DM when he DM'd her on social media.
she
People
did.
said, "Oh, that reply was garbage." Yeah, she did. He was like,
Oh,
"Oh, that reply was garbage,"
that's
and
true.
then they said it just made 10 times worse than if he would have just been like, "All right, I'm gonna ignore him. If I see him on site, then But it's grown people. I feel like if
Okay,
you,
so if that said person that you ignore online, if you see them in person, what do you do then?
I'm not. If they don't start nothing, I'm not doing anything, bro.
So you just letting it be what it is.
Words are words. Now, if they touch me, that's different. You think Quavo's just gonna pull up to Chris Brown and start beating him up?
I didn't say that, but I don't agree with the idea that words are words. I think words can be powerful and very harmful and hurtful. Like you can't sit here and act like nothing nobody can tell you is not going to hurt your feelings
I'm
or
not saying I'm not gonna say
disrespect you.
it won't hurt your feelings, but by you responding, you're bringing in more people into a conversation that should just been between you and that said person.
I think it depends on if you had to respond. It all depends on how you respond and what you say. If you respond, it has to be methodical and well thought out. If someone says something true, like false about you, or the truth, or say for example, someone says something about my pops, I will state literally just the simple fact that they're wrong and they are foolish at conducting themselves this way. You're a child. That's it, and I don't respond. If it's the truth about something about me, um, it depends what it is because I don't know what kind of
Okay, so
truth
how
of
about
someone.
this? All right, so Wale, let's say you have a falling out with someone that you're cool with and you're in a relationship and they make it public that you cheated on your girl.
All right, I made a
And it's the
mistake.
truth. And it's something that you
Yeah.
actually did.
Then I made a mistake. Um, I deserve all the consequences coming to me. It's like shit. All right, damn, that's out. Nothing I could do because anything I do after that for committing an act like that it's downhill for me. Any excuses, any sorry like little half-ass apologies or anything. No, I accept it. That's it.
Bobby, what would you do? Because you never answered these questions.
That's a
What's
lie.
that?
I just
Answer
put
the
it out
question.
there first.
Answer the question.
Which part? I asked a couple.
All of
If,
them.
if someone came out and said you were cheating, yeah, but say come out, someone said on social media, say, "Oh, you were cheating." They have proof and everything. What you doing?
It depends. Is it true or false?
It's true.
I don't like to if I was alleged to have cheated and it's the truth, I probably not going to say anything publicly, to be honest with you, because me admitting the guilt publicly, I don't think takes the burden away from the person who I hurt the most, which is my partner. So if anything, if she's not aware of that and that's what happened, then I need to talk to her first and foremost because I need to try to see if I can salvage the relationship, salvage a friendship, whatever the case may be, first and foremost. I don't really give a fuck about the internet at that point because there's the interpersonal relationship is more important first and foremost than the perception online.
Right.
Now, past that point, then it's just like I might address it, or I might just be like, yeah, there was some things that were said about me by this person who I'm not cool with, blah blah blah, whatever the case may be, and then move on from that. But if it's false, oh, I'm slandering the shit out of them because why are you making false accusations about me?
But that's what starts beef.
Exactly. You go let other people in and be like, damn, Bobby, you going crazy. And then you go like that tweet.
Because my thing is like at a certain point, you can't let people think that they can disrespect you or disrespect your name and what you do, especially when this is someone that you were cool with at a previous time. So it's like you wanted to put it like this: you try to embarrass me publicly for no reason, so I should be able to respond publicly if I choose to. Now, if I choose not to, cool. Maybe I'll talk to the person, or I'll try to talk to the person in person, whatever the case may be. But I should also have the right, because you disrespected and did something publicly and try to make a scene. I have every right to respond publicly how I see fit.
You
I'm
do,
just
but
responding.
I'm just saying, by you responding, which you said you're gonna slander them. By the way, by you responding like that, you just
I mean,
you're bringing in other people.
they
He's-
already brought other people into it, though.
Here's my thing. So in the case of who brought up who's dead? Oh, Chris Brown brought up his dead nephew. All right, cool.
Well, takeoff, yeah.
You don't. For me, I'm not gonna respond with in kind with that kind of same level of pettiness. I'm just gonna say you're just a child. That's it. I'm gonna be like, yo, do you see yourself right now? You talking about someone's like a dead relative. You lack respect. You're a grown ass individual. Stay out my DMs. If at the worst, I say stay
It's
out my
not your
DMs.
DMs though. This is a song. This is a public thing that they're putting out purposefully
Mhm.
in a whole
I'm
3-4
attacking that.
minute
Then
song.
if I had to respond, I'm just going for that person. I'm not going for their personal life. None of that. I'm talking about their character and how they present themselves. I'm not. I keep it at that. That's it. That's what I do. I'm not turning this to a back and forth episode of the week kind of thing.
I feel y'all. I really do. And ideally, no, I do. No, genuinely, I do. I genuinely do. The reason why I'm pushing back slightly is because I understand realistically how emotions work in a situation, especially publicly, when you have someone saying stuff about you or saying stuff about your character or mentioning loved ones, people that you care about, people that you protect, and they're slandering them unnecessarily when they can't defend themselves and they're not even a part of the issue between you and another person. It's very easy and convenient to say what you think you would do and what you should do, but it's not always going to be the case. That's all I'm saying. You have to measure your you have emotions for a reason. You have to measure. Sometimes certain things are going to cross the line that's going to make you react in a way you didn't think you ever would. That's all.
Yeah.
So last thing to wrap up, I'm gonna ask Bobby this question. Say you walk in the street, group of 10 people sitting on the stoop, like, look at this dude, bro.
This what?
This dude, bro. Look at this bitch, man. What are you gonna do?
It's a group of who?
People sit on their stoop staircase.
I don't know these people.
Nah, there's 10 people.
I'm just gonna look back and be like, all right, and then keep walking. That's it.
Nah, you gotta say something. They disrespecting you, bro.
That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. I'm supposed to say something back to 10 motherfuckers who are rating me sitting on the stoop. Them niggas probably been on that stoop all day.
Yes.
Everybody that's walking past, and
Let's use a different. No. Let's use a different example. You're in high school or college, and a group of kids call you, say words, blah blah, talk about your mom, but parents, blah blah, bro. The whole school. What you doing?
It's a group of people or one person.
It could be a group. It could be a person that's saying shit in front of the whole entire school.
That
a
matters.
Smaller group is saying stuff about you in front of the whole school.
That matters though, because if it's a group of people, then I'm gonna just start roasting. I'm gonna just try to roast all of them or whatever the case may be. If it's one person,
but you gotta stand your ground.
I mean, it depends on what's being said. If it's something that like flagrantly personal and disrespectful, then like, yeah, I'm gonna start just roasting. Now, if it's an individual that's saying this to directly towards me and it's trying to antagonize me in front of other people, then especially if they're trying to physically provoke me, then it's like, okay, then I have to defend myself.
I think there's a certain point where you gotta see where, like you said, you would respond to that, but like you gotta know when your energy is probably gonna be wasted and fall on deaf ears, and there's not gonna be a solution.
There's
By
I agree with that, but what I feel like y'all should understand and feel on too is there are certain situations where you're going to have to defend yourself or defend people that you are close with. And it's not going to be just as simple as, oh, I'm just ignore it.
Yes, but I was just if it's strictly social media,
So there's nothing nobody can say about you on social media or about someone that's close to you that will make you respond.
bro. If somebody says something on social media, I don't see it because I'm not following them.
You
There's
are
other.
though. That's what I'm saying. This is
I'm
someone
not going to be. You're not understanding that I'm not going to be.
brother. You're telling me if you are cool with someone and y'all have issues and they publicly put on a story whatever they put out and you see that you're not there's no response
I'll be
coming.
like, "You good?" And if they don't
You good?
respond, it's like, "You good?" And if they don't respond or blah blah blah, then why am I gonna keep following to see that stuff? That's like if you have a group of people keep messaging you on Facebook, say you was using Facebook or MySpace, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they keep messaging you, bothering you, log off. If it comes, it's different when it's happening in person. Then response is yes. Obviously, not obviously, but there will be a response. But on the internet, where you could just be like, I don't want to see this stuff.
Okay.
I don't need to see. I curate my feed or whoever I follow. You have the option to not see that. The only way that content would come back to you is if other people were to say that said person posted that on social media.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
But I think we should wrap this episode up.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, this was a really good one. Let us know in the comments. Let us know what do you see a difference between beef and competition? Have you experienced beef or competition? Do you think they're synonymous with each other? Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content, confessions, interviews, anime content, prove it or lose it, everything assortments. We got the new rapid fire roundtable that we're starting up that we've been doing. So tune into that as well. Follow us on IG, HBCU3. All our individual socials are there. And yeah, if you want to be a special guest, let us know. But until next time, we are out of here. Peace.